the current status as to this operation happening?
Well, presently we have about 80 officers who are on this exercise, combing the hills of Rich Plain from Rich Plain straight across over the hills to Chagaramas, together with the Defense Force in search of the assailants who committed this dastardly act. The police service is in fact in mourning and condolences to the officer family, but we are looking forward to see how fast it's possible that we can arrest these assailants. You'll realize that the Homicide Bureau is presently here and conducting the investigation. It's unfortunate that the police officers were carrying out their normal lawful duty when they got a report of persons with high-powered weapons. The 12 officers responded from different directions, and as they approached the steps to go up into the hills, they were fired upon. They returned fire, and one of the officers, like Officer Gilkes, was shot in his neck and he died shortly after at the hospital. They, not we, they have declared war on the police service. And I think that is the worst mistake anyone can make. Yes, we operate within the framework of the law, but we will do all that is necessary to deal with these persons who are responsible for this act. When you touch one police officer, you have touched all. We are out here and we will do what is required to bring these persons to justice.
Commissioner, coming out, the residents are, however, having a different version to what transpired, saying that they believe it was friendly fire that would have hit the officer. I mean, is that also a theory that you would look into during your investigation?
Well, immediately, right, you know, there's a lot of, what we just put it, gosh, in relation to the circumstances in which the incident happened, right? And our investigators will look at all angles, but the officers and them who were present are given how everything had occurred. And it's amazing to know that other persons were present. If other persons were present, we are looking forward for them to come forward and give the statements to the Homicide Bureau. Because sitting some distance away and making statements where something occurred within a secluded area on the steps heading up into the hills is amazing that they have seen and talk about friendly fire. Our officer is shot in his neck from the front, and we're talking about friendly fire. You know, this is what we are talking about. We have to get serious in our country in relation to this, and we constantly is giving some merit to persons who are involved in criminal activities in our land. We are asking persons to be more serious and focused in the way things are going, because as they provide support for criminal elements, sooner or later it will turn, these same persons will turn on them.
Commissioner, relatives say that one of their suspects wants to surrender, and they say that the police is in trouble. Is that something you have heard of, or
I haven't heard of anything like that. But if the assailants are willing to come forward, the station is there. They can go carry the person into the station, probably with the attorneys if they wish. Right? We will accommodate that because we are about enforcing the law. We are not above the law. And if someone wishes to come forward, right, we will in fact entertain them. The homicide persons will in fact interview them.
Mr. Jacob, were any other officers wounded in this incident?
All the other officers on this exercise were wounded, but mentally. It had a psychological effect on them, and it's an aspect that we don't take in consideration. We take in consideration the physical effect or whether or not anyone was shot. These officers are wounded emotionally. Our victim support officers and our social workers will need to deal with the trauma aspect for these officers who have witnessed their colleague who was shot and died shortly after the hospital. We need to do work with our officers to ensure that they can be back on the job and operate effectively because they are now mentally and emotionally wounded.
Have those officers been pulled off of the operation as well, Commissioner?
Not as yet, because some of them were actually in hot pursuit, and we are now organizing that to ensure that they are out of it and are safe.
Given what we would have seen here today, can you give us an idea of what the morale or what the feeling is on the ground among the rank and file in the service?
The rank and file of the police service now is pump up. We have to hold back officers who are looking forward to come here because we had sufficient persons on the ground to see about this matter. Right? Some officers who are supposed to report off duty have decided to continue working to give support to their colleagues. When someone feels that this will break the back of the police service, all it will do at this stage is to cause the officers and them to get stronger in our resolve to deal with the criminal elements in Trinidad and Tobago.
One last question, going forward, PC Gilkes relatives, their family, what can they expect? I mean, obviously nothing you all could do, whatever, bring him back. But, is there anything, any provisions in place for his relatives, his children, if he has any?
Well, our social workers have already visited the home, right? We have a systems in place. If something like that happened to our colleague, and then he was in fact killed in the line of duty. And that is an area that the Social and Welfare Association, Mr. Dixon, who is with me here, will in fact respond to in relation to how we will deal in the situation where a police officer is killed while on duty.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Commissioner, Trinidad and Tobago. Firstly, let me extend condolences to the family of Officer Gilkes and by extension to all our colleagues in the Western Division and those who you have been working with at the task force in the Western Division. We are very disheartened. We are emotionally drained. Having been through COVID, where we have lost 36 officers to date, and now getting back the country into a state of normalcy. This attack on our colleague, as suggested, as the Commissioner has already said, an attack on law enforcement, an attack on police. We will not accept it. From an association perspective, we will do what we need to do to ensure that the family of Officer Gilkes get what they are truly deserving of. It is early days, but the $1 million, for sure. Because he was shot in the line of duty, he would have died in the line of duty. We will be lobbying the Minister over this weekend to ensure that it takes place in the shortest turnover. The immediate needs, we will be having our Central Committee reps check on the family to ensure that the association could, in fact, provide some relief in the short term. Additionally, we would also want to go on public record to say that we will put out $20,000 for any information leading to the successful capture of the perpetrator. And we know who it is. And the persons in the community here also know who it is. So we are calling on our community members to partner with the police. We have several different anonymous means of communication. Once the information is credible and we capture the culprit, capture the suspect, the association will pay a $20,000 reward. And we will also call on other stakeholders to partner with us, because if you attack law enforcement as you have done on this occasion, the next time it might be the law-abiding citizen they would attack. So we need to come together and ensure the successful capture of this perpetrator. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, just in fact, the Minister of National Security has spoken to me already for the evening in relation to this particular incident. And the question of the compensation concerning Officer Gilkes and his family will in fact be fast-tracked, so there will not be any sort of kickback.